Okay, the second part of this assignment is going to be looking at an equation and graphing from that. So at first, we're actually going to give you an equation such as y equals x plus 4. And then we're going to give you actual points that you're going to graph with this. Okay? This is your x value, this one is your y value. And I'm going to give you -2, 0, and 2. Now, those are just some examples. You will actually have more than this on your assignment. So what do? You take that -2, you substitute it in for the x, because that's what that is. So y is equal to -2 plus 4. Well, -2 plus 4 is equal to 2. Therefore, my y is equal to 2. Okay? Then I put 0 in. Y is equal to 0 plus 4. And 0 plus 4 is 4. Therefore, my y value is 4. And then I'm going to put y is equal to 2 plus 4. And that's going to give me 6. I'm going to give you one more ordered pair. And this will be a -4. So y is equal to -4 plus 4, and that is 0. So now, -2, 2 is one ordered pair, 0, 4 is another one, 2, 6 is another one, and -4, 0. So let's graph those on an xy axis. And you actually have graph paper in your homework assignment, so you won't have to do this part. So, -2, 2. There's my first point. 0, 4. There's my second point. Look, we need a couple more up there. 2, 6. And then -4, 0. And notice this line, and it's nicer if you actually grab a straight edge on your graph paper. It'll make very nice lines. This line you need to draw it through both the x and the y axes. And so this provides a way for you to graph lines. And the beauty of this is in business and a lot of other things, we can develop trends and things from these businesses. And we'll actually go into more of that later. But right now you're just going to learn how to graph. First of all, how to graph points. Secondly, how to graph lines. You have a couple of them where you will be given exactly this kind of thing for you to fill out. But there's an easier way to do it as well. If I had an equation 2x minus 3y is equal to 4, I can just do what's called a simple t-chart with an x and a y. And make sure you keep them lined up. Okay, so I can put a 0 in for x, I can put a 0 in for my y, I can put a -1 in for my x, and how about a 3 for my y? Now notice, I can put my number in for either x or y, but when I do this, I will actually have to solve. And this is an important skill to have. Any of you that are going on into college algebra, you must have this skill. Even those of you going on to 130 math, we are now using this in modeling, so it is an important skill to develop. So the first thing you do, since my x is 0, I'm going to put my 0 in for my x, and then I'm going to solve my equation. So this is 0, so I have a -3y equals 4, and divide by that -3. You see how your equation solving skills come back? This is a -4/3. Not a nice number. It's not going to end up exactly on the line. Now let's put 0 in for the y. So 2x minus 3 times 0 equals 4. So that becomes a 0. So 2x minus 0 is 2x equals 4. Divide by 2, and x is equal to 2. So my x is 2. And now let's try a negative 1. 2 times negative 1, since my negative 1 is x, I'm going to put that in. 2 times negative 1 minus 3y equals 4. This is a negative 2 minus 3y equals 4. Therefore, add my 2 to both sides, and I end up with a negative 3y. I'm going to move it up here a bit. Negative 3y equals 6. Divide by negative 3. And y is equal to a negative 2. So this one is a negative 2. And now we'll put 3 in for our y. So 2x minus 3 times 3 equals 4. So 2x, negative 3 times 3 is minus 9 equals 4. Add my 9 to both sides. And 2x is equal to 13. Divide by 2. And x is equal to 13 halves, which is 6.5 or 6.5. All right? So, now we're going to put that here. All right? Now that we know what that is, our first thing now is to take these points that we just calculated, and we will now graph. And that will be the last thing we do on this. Okay, so 0, negative 4/3, which is equal to negative 1.333. Okay, so it's right here, about. And 2, 0, negative 1, negative 2, and 6.53. Okay, and now draw your line. So there we are, 2 different ways to graph by, well, actually graphing by points that are given to you and then building your points from the graph. And that is the end of the first assignment.